Well. The more things change, the more they say the same. You know, there's certain constants in this life. Death, taxes, and the Cowboys messing it up every single time. God, I love me some football.
But at the same time, I'm going to make this very clear.
I've been waiting for a long time, waiting all week.
But we all have Valdosta State ties, which is the reason why we decided to get this podcast to try.
Cairo,
yes.
We all say that.
New Jersey?
This is Title Town. We win championships.
The fire in my loins.
That'll be later on in the podcast, folks.
Can't wait.
He made a promise to God. He said,
You allowed 28 points against a team that was essentially playing like a lucky person playing Madden, going for 2 after every touchdown.
and I think God has given him his end of the bargain.
The gigantic metaphorical middle finger.
The Dirty Myrtle is exactly how it sounds.
And this is the Inferno Blazer Sports Show.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Inferno Blazer Sports Show. My name is Kyle Hawthorne, and let's get right into it. I am joined by the voice of the volleyball team, PA announcer Jalen Scott. How you doing today, Jalen?
Going great, man. Going good. Kyle Hawthorne. Apparently, you've forgotten how to pronounce your entire name.
Sounds like you forgot how to speak.
Hey, listen, man.
I completely forget how to speak.
Listen,
I know that.
Listen.
That's that Marietta coming out of him. That's all it is.
Michael Jordan flu game over here. Michael Jordan flu game over here. Alongside Mr. Jalen, we got Chris Mercer. How you doing today, Chris?
Howdy, y'all. It's a good day to be in the house. It's good to see you. Happy early birthday, Kyle. If y'all did not know, me and Kyle actually share the same birthday. We're a year apart.
They're actually twins, by the way.
Yeah, we look exactly alike.
Yeah,
folks.
absolutely.
Yeah, we're actually twins.
I've just been on the grill a little bit too long.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I'm 22 coming up this Sunday, and Kyle will be celebrating his 21st.
Yes, sir.
But I have, graciously enough, gotten him a gift because, I want to be able to make him feel right at home. So I got Kyle's special picture. Yes, indeed. Now you are going to have to pay for that gift. It's about $75.95.
What? I appreciate it, Chris. I really do. Another one we got here, Mr. Jack Calhoun, the voice of the Blazers volleyball team. And Jack, can I go ahead and say it?
Go for it.
The voice of the basketball team as well. Congrats, Jack.
Yay, let's go.
Thank you. I got. We'll talk more about that in the podcast. I have to tell y'all about our trip down to Tallahassee, Florida this past weekend.
Yeah.
It was quite interesting.
All right. Well, we definitely want to hear about that. But Jack, first off, let's hear about this volleyball stuff.
So, volleyball team got 2 wins over Lee and Shorter, much needed wins as well. And because of this, our Lady Blazers have clinched a spot in the Gulf South Conference postseason for the 2nd year in a row.
Yes, indeed.
That being said, we're 4th place in the GSC. No seeds have clinched yet. The top 8 teams officially clinched. But a matter of seeding in the last few matches is going to determine who's playing who. That being said, VSU's had their best season record-wise since 2015 when they were 23-7 overall. They started that season 12-0 as well, and it's hard to believe 2015 was almost 10 years ago. That makes me feel old.
I think that makes all of us feel
old. I was saying,
old.
2015, I was in middle school.
For Kyle, that would only be like a blip in how old this man has been around.
Yeah, because Kyle's 87 years old.
We just established that I'm almost 21 now, where I'm 87. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how college will age you. His
age is very inconsistent.
It's that syrup that he is made from.
Syrup. Yeah.
Are you sure that's syrup? I mean, it's a brown substance. Are we sure it's syrup though?
Yeah.
Are we sure?
Yeah. Oh, of course. I'll
bring the liquor next episode.
Whoa, man! Wow.
Yep.
All right, we just got demonetized. All right.
A new record, and it wasn't me. Yes.
The
only black guy on the panel, and I could have.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Half of one, sir.
We got 5 minutes in, and we're already on race.
Oh my god.
Anyway, bringing it back to volleyball. I don't know how we got off on that tangent, but
It's Chris's fault.
What do you call it? This is where we're sitting at right now. This is the best record under Coach Zuha in their 6-year tenure. We got 2 matches coming up. I'll be on the call for both of them. Jalen will be on PA for both as well.
Yep.
Actually, I think all 4 of us are working these games. Well, maybe not Chris and Kyle. They probably have football Saturday, but
We'll explain that.
Yeah.
I'm getting. I'll explain that more.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I've heard that the score to that game has changed. Is what I'm hearing. So anyway, we have a game. We have a game against Alabama, Huntsville, and Montevallo on Friday and Saturday, respectively.
And those are the number 2 and number 5 seeds respectively.
Yeah, number 2 and number 5. If VSU finishes as a 3 or 4 seed, they get a second bye to the second round. Match would be at West Florida, who's the current 1 seed and the host of the second to the final round. If VSU finishes as a 5 or 6 seed, Valdosta State plays first round at the complex. Chris, what do you?
I would have never guessed in this lifetime that this man actually took the shot off the syrup.
Hey, syrup shots.
You'll see that on the
bear
Instagram.
over in the corner.
my
If he could talk,
God.
he's never mind.
Oh,
Anyway.
Jesus. I'm sorry.
Jack,
because that's going to sound terrible out of context. We don't have an actual bear in the studio. In this studio, there's a small stuffed teddy bear being filmed for a student film here on campus today, and he is watching currently in disgust.
Yeah, he's
and
having a good time.
He's really disappointed.
But I will say this though, speaking of volleyball, I'm proud of our girls for getting able to, get there and get back to the playoffs again. I'd love for them to make a run this year, because last year it was they got hot towards the end of the year, and they were, you're thinking about, oh man, they can keep that momentum going. But they were on that slide the last time that we were, discussing, and now that they've, right the ship of sorts, and I would love to see them go on a run here, and
Yeah, I mean, it's time to get hot. If you don't get hot now, you're out.
Yeah. And they did know that, especially after last year as well. And it's like, you definitely don't want to squander a great season.
Exactly.
All too.
Yeah, especially after having a losing record last year, they've bounced back after going on that 6-game skid.
Yeah.
But I'm really proud of, and again, I may sound biased because I've watched them the entire season, but I'm really proud to see the progress that they've made. And you can just tell Coach Zuha has a plan, and it's starting to come to fruition. And I hope that they can translate that into postseason success as well. But there's really one big question that is just going through my mind right now, and I'm opening it up here to the panel. Who are the impact players in your eyes the opponent should look out for? I mean, I've got my personal thought, but I just want to hear what y'all's opinion is on this.
I guess in that case, I'm going to go first then. My impact players, I think it's really going to come down to JoJo Smith, Christina Pettigrew, Kaya Baker. And my reasons for those 3, of course, Smith and Pettigrew are the two primary fours. Pettigrew has been excellent on blocking this season. Smith has had a couple of moments this year where it seems like she can't get her flow on her kills, but when she does get her flow in this kill attempts, it is an extremely difficult thing to try to block. I can't even imagine like the velocity of those things flying at you. Even if they go out of bounds, it kind of takes you. Even when they go out of bounds, it kind of takes you aback of like, oh, that she can hit.
Yeah.
She can hit that ball.
Definitely.
She can hit that ball extremely hard. So I think so. And Kaya Baker, of course, the recent new libero taking the place.
Our favorite German, Kaya Baker. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, and she was taking the place of.
Chris, she's from Germany. Why are you laughing?
I'm looking at something else. With, yeah, we're not.
Of what was
brother.
Gabby Ortiz at the beginning of the year, then Lily Glover towards the middle of the season. Now Kaya Baker, she's kind of like our third starting libero. She's been really great on that defensive line, so a great defensive performance by her. Pettigrew and Smith would be fantastic.
Before anyone goes any further, I gotta say, you gotta play as a team in volleyball because of the way that you gotta run your offense. But the player that I think is the key going forward is Mackenzie Murray. Personally, I mean, I can't say for certain if it's her or Smith that owns the title for most kills scored on the team this season, but all I'll say is this: Murray comes off the bench with Pettigrew a lot, and it just gets to a point where the other team has to either call a timeout or throw in subs because they can't keep up when those two are on the floor. So Pettigrew, yes, I agree with, But you gotta figure in Mackenzie Murray as well.
It actually is Mackenzie Murray. She leads the team right now, 296 kills.
Exactly.
40 more than Smith this season.
40 more.
And one of the things that I'm really noticing with this squad, and you were talking about impact players, I had a chance to speak with Mallory Roney coming out after the Halloween matchup against West Georgia.
Mal always gives a good interview.
Yeah, absolutely. And she definitely helped me out with my first article at The Spectator. And I definitely want to shout out the editor of the Sports Spectator. Giving me that opportunity.
Yeah,
Truly
I've met that
that
sports editor. He's quite the individual.
Yeah,
Love
man.
that guy.
He's always busy at board meetings, though.
He
I don't
is.
like
He
that.
is.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, but I was talking to her, and this is going into this weekend, November 10th and 11th. 11th specifically is Senior Day, and she is the lone senior, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and graduate student.
And it's just like she was talking about how much this school meant to her, and how much these Lady Blazers mean to her, and I think that they want to send her out well, and I think that's going to be a huge motivational factor because they, this is a younger team where you don't have many seniors. Like I said, this is the lone senior, so you have some sophomores.
I was gonna say that was the same. That was the same thing last year.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly as well.
There's only one senior, Olivia Piazza, last year.
Yeah, so it's just like that plays a factor when you've been battling and you see someone that's been there for that long and you want to be able to send them out well. That's given so much to the program. I think that definitely is going to play a factor in if they can make that run.
Yeah, well, for me, it's got to be Christina Pettigrew. I mean, from the outside looking in, before I really started, watching the volleyball and working volleyball games, I always thought, oh yeah, JoJo Smith, that's the big name. She's very marketable. She's on pretty much every type of graphic you see. And while she is very talented, very good, one of the best players on the team, just for athleticism and just the total domination of the game, it's got to be Pettigrew. I remember watching those games, and it's just kind of just like she is, I don't want to say quietly, but maybe sometimes underrated, under the radar. She's just out there. She's very athletic, very just dominant. Yeah. And this team would not be where they are without her.
Yeah, she is a true backbone of the team.
Yeah.
Like truly. And it definitely doesn't go unnoticed, especially on this podcast. So absolutely. Definitely the opportunity. Yeah.
And Jalen, you got some soccer to talk about now, right?
I do indeed. And the first thing I want to talk about is, first of all, congratulations to this Blazer soccer team for really turning this season around from what was honestly a horrendous 2022 season by most measures. They went 4-11-1 in that record, the worst record in head coach Stephen Andrews' tenure, his 7-year tenure with the Valdosta State Blazers, and that's the worst record since 2016, where they went 1-11-5. So from that span between 2017 to 2022, I mean, VSU soccer was a actual dominant powerhouse, making the conference tournament year by year, and of course you have that one blip season in 2022, and now they're back in the play. They were back in the playoff. Faced Mississippi College, a 3-seed Mississippi College, which unfortunately ended in a very heartbreaking note as VSU loses 1-0 in the GSC quarterfinal. That game-winning goal coming in the 80th minute. So you're talking a majority of the game went by, no goals, there's shots on goal, both sides, and then it finally broke through at that 80th minute in Mississippi College's favor, unfortunately ending the Blazer season, which is very sad, very disappointing for this season. But besides that, I think they have the potential for a really bright future and continuing to go to those winning ways under head coach Stephen Andrew. As a matter of fact, four soccer players earned second team all Gulf South Conference honors. Taylor Morris, Molly Wooldridge, Anna Maleka, and Samantha Worley. Kind of just breaking them one by one here. Taylor Morris is a senior defender. This is her third time being named second team All-GSC. So congratulations to her. She was one of two players to start all 17 games, had an assist, 15 shots, 7 on goal this season. She's played 58 matches her career, one of the graduating seniors. So thank you, Taylor Morris, for all you've done for this VSU soccer program. If you continue to be a grad student, continue playing, hey, by all means. Molly Wooldridge, junior forward. This is her second time being listed to the second team All-GSC. She finished second in scoring this year behind our next row, which I'll get to in just a moment. She had 7 goals, 3 assists for 17 points, 24 shots on goal. So she had a very high level of getting those shots on net. Had 3 game-winning goals this year and played in 17 matches this season. The next one I want to talk about, Anna Maleka, junior 4. This is her first time being named to second team All-GSC. She was first in scoring this year and notched a hat trick in the season opener against Clayton State, the 9th hat trick in team history. She had 7 goals, 4 assists for 18 points, which made her the top in scoring this year. She had 1 more assist over Woolridge. Had 16 shots on goal, had a game-winning goal this season. And the last one, Samantha Worley, a senior defenseman, first time being named second All-GSC. She was an anchor in this defensive core with 1,109 minutes played. That is a lot of minutes in just one season.
That is a
one
lot.
season. Two goals for 4 points, 5 shots on goal. She's played. Here's what I think is kind of cool too. She has played 59 total matches in her VSU career. 4 goals, 2 assists for 3,320 minutes overall played in her career. Can any of you guys do like the hour calculation on that? Like how many hours?
Listen, Jalen, with all due respect, that's the reason I went to a junior college. I didn't have to take any more math. I haven't done math in 2 years, and it's been too soon.
Fair point.
The way my brain is set up, the thing is, I think I left a little bit at the house right now.
You'll say Chris is over there having the Kevin Hart approach. You see the way my bank account works, it don't work like that.
Yeah,
especially this week. We are.
The final thing I want to talk about is this returning core that's going to be coming back next year. Molly Woolridge, Anna Maleka, Claire Timberlake, Assie Luff, defenseman, Jocelyn Obali, forward, Molly Munchin, defenseman, Ansley DeCenzo, another forward, Victoria Barr, midfield. This is going to be essentially another volleyball situation where you have
a lot of youth and experience to build on that. Yeah,
and you're going to be able to sustain. You're going to be able to sustain the team chemistry. The only thing that I would really say that's going to take a hit is the midfield. Most of our midfielders are going to be our seniors are going to be graduating unless they're coming back for graduate students. But also at the same time with the midfield, obviously you're going to get girls coming up through the pipeline coming up. Freshmen to sophomores, they're probably going to see a lot more playing time. You can obviously get transfers and stuff like that. So this is going to be I think this is going to be a very exciting soccer season coming up for the 2024 season. And with that being said, we're going to take a quick break before we get back to Kyle with his topic about football. And we'll be right back after a quick moment for station identification. But at the same time, I'm going to make this very clear. If you're not tuning into the Inferno, you're missing out on a fun time. Based in the heart of Titletown, USA in Valdosta, Georgia, 4 Valdosta State students come together to discuss Blazer athletics and other topics in and out of the sports realm. Catch me, Chris, Kyle, and Jack on all of the platforms that The Inferno is streaming on. And be sure to check out our Instagram at The Inferno BSS. Again, that is at The Inferno BSS. And now, back to the show. Welcome back, everyone, to the Inferno Blazer Sports Show. This is Jalen coming back to you after our quick little break. Now I'm going to hand it off to Kyle, who we've got some stuff to talk about football now, don't we?
Oh yeah, thanks, Jalen. I have had my syrup shots and I am ready to go.
2 of them to be exact. I think 3 when we were in break.
Yeah, they'll be like 10 or 20 before the show's over. But VSU, let's backtrack a few weeks. VSU goes down to Pensacola, beats number 8 West Florida for the first time since 2018 in Pensacola.
Man,
that was a good game.
Yeah, last minute TD. And if you haven't caught it on the social media, so I think we posted it on
our boy G got the really good shot there.
Shout out to G.
What a catch, though.
If you can find that, you got to put that on the. Share that. That was a great shot.
Yeah,
but also just what a catch down there in the end zone.
Less than a minute left. Edwards connects to the tight end Ted Hurst, touchdown Blazers. We win the game, and we're still in it for the GSC.
Yeah, we beat West Alabama last week.
Yeah, West Alabama. That score was 20-14. I mean, really, when I looked at that game, I honestly thought it was a trap game. Really, a few years ago, we used to always say the North Greenville game was the trap game.
Yeah,
because no offense to North Greenville, they really were never that much of a talented team, but they always really, really played us tough.
Yeah.
And it's just we avoided the trap game. I know that's a lonely road to Livingston. I'll tell you all that. It's a lonely road to Livingston, but they took care of business. Got ahead 14-0 in the first quarter, I believe, and then they closed it out and set it up for this week for the Red Clay rivalry, which is also going to be senior night versus West Georgia.
Get that peach basket.
We got to get that peach basket, guy.
What we've been waiting for,
Yep.
what we've talked about all year.
Yeah.
We've talked about this is the game. No matter what way we flipped it, this is a game that you cannot lose.
Yep.
Not just because it's senior night, but this is potentially the final time we get
this
a
is
chance.
it.
Yep,
Yeah.
this is. There's a reason this is the last game
Yeah.
on the regular season docket. I mean, this is the game. We got ranked again, number 19, coming into this game 9-1, 6-1 in the conference versus the Wolves, who are 6-3, 5-2 in the conference. This Saturday, 7 p.m. It's on.
Yes, indeed. Something that I was looking into not only VSU's game against West Alabama, but I was also looking into West Georgia's game last week against Delta State. They really kept it close. It was like 27-13 going in the half, and you were seeing, okay, they were making some strides, but man, that second half couldn't have gone any worse for West Georgia.
The second half team.
Yeah,
similar.
28-6 score differential in that second half. And
that was rough.
Man, oh man. But but if the scenarios do align, this is the way that as the season is wrapping up. Right now, Delta State took a bye, and if you're noticing in here as well that there's like a game discrepancy between VSU and Delta State. VSU is, of course, 9-1, 6-1 in the conference, while Delta State is 8-1 and I believe 6-1 in the conferences, or 5-1 in the conference as well.
Yeah, lost to West Florida.
Yeah, they lost to West Florida, and that's their only loss. And VSU's only loss is
so those they will cancel out, which I know that's what you're getting to right now.
Yeah, would cancel out. But going into this Saturday, if VSU wins and Delta State wins, we would, I believe, share the
it would
conference.
be a conference share. We would be co-champions. Nobody gets a ring. I believe nobody gets a banner. Two teams may get banners. I know they don't give out conference rings for shared conference championships. Yeah. I do know that everybody gets the shirts.
Yeah.
Can I just make a comment here? This is more so to the Gulf South Conference. I don't understand why you have a co-conference champion whenever, if you have two teams that finish with the same conference record and they've played each other and one has the tiebreaker over the other based on a head-to-head matchup.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying it doesn't make much sense.
I mean
it's going to work to our advantage if we win and Delta State loses, but I'm just saying from the outside looking in, that seems kind of pointless.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get that. I understand that. And again, that comes from somebody that benefited from the 21 conference championship, the shared conference championship with West Florida. But I mean, I understand the reasoning behind it because we beat West Florida and they lost to West Florida. But, I mean, listen, we'll take it. But at the end of the day, they beat us. So, I mean, we'll take it.
And it's honestly going to be a matter of if we share the conference, where is that going to put us in the super region? How is that going to essentially kind of almost affect us in the super region rankings, which determines, what we're seated for the NCAA playoffs.
Super region really factors in strength of schedule as well, because I mean, I'm not sure if we're still in the running for the first seed in the first round bye. I don't know if we're still in the running for that. Maybe
we're right now third,
especially if Delta State loses and we win big versus West Georgia. We're definitely going to get that first round bye, I believe.
I highly doubt that. The top team is undefeated.
Yeah, and Delta State is going to face off against Mississippi College. If you guys are wondering. Yeah.
Well, what's their strength of schedule though?
That's a good point.
That is a very good point.
Undefeated is undefeated. I understand that, but what's the strength of schedule?
Yeah, but it's going to be really interesting.
It's going to be a good game. I mean, keep in mind, West Georgia hasn't won in Titletown since 2014. This is possibly This is possibly their last opportunity.
Yeah,
I mean, this is potentially the last matchup in Titletown for Coach David Dean, the coach of the Wolves. He was the head coach for us back in 2007 and 2012 when we won those national titles.
Yeah.
This is kind of a going away party for him.
Yeah, but we got to get that peach basket back.
Oh, yeah, we got to get it.
It is time. It needs to come home. Yeah. This is the last time because VSU leads the series against West Georgia 28-14, if I'm not mistaken, in the 42
I think it's
matchup.
29, but yeah.
Well, yeah, 28-14 going into this matchup. Going into this matchup, not counting because obviously we don't know who wins this Saturday. But that's where the standings sit right now. But we'll win that. But we need to get that Peach basket.
Oh yeah,
back.
we got to keep the
If
basket.
we're not going to see them again, and because hopefully we can see VSU go up to Division I at some point.
Yeah, but as for now,
yeah, we're taking that Peach basket.
We got to have
back.
that Peach basket back. We got to have it sitting on the trophy case.
Yeah, absolutely. But also selection shows coming up for that on November the 12th. So that's going to be also exciting to finally see VSU get back into where they belong and to truly earn that name Title Town again.
Exactly.
So that's a really big thing. But as I am talking, man, men and women's basketball is starting up. Coming up this weekend, we're going to see the Lady Blazers go over to Pensacola, Florida, to take on Eckerd College. Eckerd College.
Eckridge.
Yeah, Eckridge College.
And
yeah, I can't
Chowan.
speak.
That Georgia public education coming out of Chris over there.
I know, Superintendent. You taught me well. And also taking on Palm Beach Atlantic. Those games are on November 10th and 11th, respectively, before they open up the season at home. Open up their home schedule on the 13th. That game got moved from the 14th of November. They're taking on Bruton Parker College on the 13th. For the men Blazers, they are heading to Atlanta for their openers in a cross conference matchup against Fort Valley and Clark Atlanta, same days as well. I am truly excited to see what our Blazers have to offer. And also, we had someone make a trip down for a special exhibition.
Yeah, let's hear about it, John.
In Tallahassee.
Yes. So we, if for those of you that are not in the loop, I have recently been hired to be the commentator for both men and women's basketball here at VSU when they go on the road. And I had the opportunity to go down to Tallahassee, Florida for the exhibition game between Florida State and Valdosta State. And it was a once-of-a-lifetime opportunity. Yeah. And I enjoyed every second of it. It was just so cool from start to finish. I was telling a friend of mine, I said, I was here less than a month ago for a concert and I couldn't get, they wouldn't let me go below the top deck. And yet I was walking at mid-court and I felt like I had to turn over my shoulder every time because I felt like somebody was going to be like, hey, you need to get out of here, Yeah. And I remember thinking they were going to put me in some booth up top or something. They said, no, you come sit down on the scorer's table. And I've seen these guys I've watched on TV before. I'm seeing coaches that my father has talked about. I actually met Coach Leonard Hamilton from Florida State. We had an interesting interaction, but we did meet, and I got to meet him and whatnot. We were down there covering a story for the Spectator as well about it, which should be coming out sometime today, if not tomorrow, in our Burnliner edition. But the atmosphere of playing in an arena like that, no disrespect to the complex when I say it, but it's got nothing on Donald L. Tucker Civic Center. I mean, it's just beautiful. It's a different ball game, and I will say the score does not represent what actually went on. I mean, you see the score, they kept it close. You see 90 to 67, and you think, yeah, that seems about right. But you got to remember, at halftime it was a 7-point game, and the only, and again, it may sound biased, this is just from the outside looking in. From what I saw on the court that day, the biggest advantage that Florida State had was size, and they're an ACC team. They should have size over a school.
Division I.
There's no reason they shouldn't. But here's my thing: when you get down to the fundamentals and how they run their offense and whatnot, if Valdosta State had the same size, that game could have gone either way. Yeah. So I was telling Coach Helfer on our post game show, I was like, this right here, you've got a solid team, and you can make a good run. Now, I know we went 18-13 last year. And we missed the tournament, but he was talking about how he thought with a lot of the new transfers, because like half the team is new this year. I mean, they're literally a new look Blazers. Yeah. And he was talking about how they had a little bit of team chemistry to build and whatnot. But I see this being potentially being a very good season.
I was talking to Coach Helfer after Blazer Madness. It was open to the public last Thursday, and he was like, going into that game, he was like, if they stated their game, you're going to give them a run for their money. And although that final score doesn't indicate that, but if you watched it, they gave them all that they can handle in terms of you can't ask for any more than that. So I am definitely excited.
Yeah, to see exactly. I mean, listen, we didn't win the game, but I mean, you stay in the ball game with a Division I opponent like Florida State. I mean, there's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, if we're able to do something like that to Florida State again, even if we lost,
Think about what we could do to someone like West Florida.
Exactly. What are you going to do to the GSC?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about that. Let's head to a break, man, for some station identification. Coming up, we got baseball. Shout out to the Rangers getting it done. We'll talk about free agents coming up, and also the Scorcher Seat first edition coming up right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have new intel on the Inferno. It's spreading like a wildfire to uncharted territories, to unknown domains. We hope you join us under new distributors on Apple, Amazon, and Google, along with our current ones. Action effective immediate. Jalen out.
Welcome back to the Inferno. I am the enforcer, Chris Mercer. I still got the syrup maker, the syrup shop maker, Mr. Kyle Hawthorne. We got the principal, Jack Calhoun, and of course, half man, half amazing Jalen Scott in the building. But Kyle, we got some baseball to talk about, man. But also, first things first, shout out to the Texas Rangers. We last time we spoke, the World Series hadn't even started. Oh, had just started. So shout out to the Texas Rangers winning their first World Series title. Third time is indeed the charm for them. So congratulations to them. And man, I mean, many people don't like the way it was done. It's like, oh, they bought their way to a ring, but
that's what the Rams did. When the Rams did it, there wasn't a problem.
I just want to say something while I'm thinking about it. You know, I'm happy for the Rangers being based out of Arlington and whatnot. They've now become one of the several franchises in the tri-state area there that have won a championship.
Yeah.
There's only one franchise in the Dallas-Arlington area that has won a championship in last one.
I'll get to him in a minute. I'll get to him in a minute.
I mean, think about it. The Stars, you got the Rangers. I mean, think about it.
Yeah. Oh, man.
The Mavericks, come on.
Hey, man, who would have thought the Rangers on a very serious note, when you talk about for the Rangers going from 100-loss year in 2021, a 94-loss year in 2022, to winning it all this year is phenomenal. Yeah. And they have some stars for the future. And it's definitely Adolis Garcia.
That dude.
Man,
Cardinals just gave him up for cash, and now he's just
Cardinals are right
now.
Now. But also, free agency is going to be heating up, and none bigger fish than Shohei Ohtani. Going into it, you also have Blake Snell and Cody Bellinger in there as well. So I am wondering, man, where do you see these guys going? But Kyle, I want to start with you. Let's start with the big fish on the fryer and the biggest catch you think of this free agency of Shohei Ohtani. Where do you think he goes this offseason?
Well,
he hopes Atlanta.
Actually, I really don't. I really don't. Really, I don't. I don't want to overpay for somebody like that. Listen, I don't think he's going to the Yankees. That's the biggest thing with, money and all that good stuff with, being able to pay. I will say my number 2 team that I think he may go back to, it would be the Angels, obviously.
Yeah.
I hate to see it for him because, he and Mike Trout are just, dying out there.
Free Mike Trout. Free this man.
Who I have him going to. The Orioles are going to pay for Shohei Ohtani, and they are going to go to the next level.
They've been known to do that.
That's a splurge that, it makes sense when you have, but also it would be a panic move in a sense because when you're considered that they would have won.
A panic move.
They were a 100-win squad that got swept in the LDS last year. Yeah, it's don't get me wrong, it makes them better because I know that they were trying to get in the running for when Shohei was on the trade market during the deadline to go get him. But
it's not a panic move. It's a level up move.
Yeah.
They have established that they can make the playoffs and they can win 100 games. Now they need that next level to get them there.
Yeah, but the best player in the world doesn't help.
Ultimately, I think the thing with Shohei is with a player that caliber, especially for someone who is not going to be pitching this year. He's down for pitching, but his hitting prowess is still absolutely going to be there. It's just going to turn into a massive bidding war.
Yeah,
how much can each team continue to stack the bids on each other?
Well, Jalen, where do you think he's going?
See, I didn't have an answer for that. So you're saying
a Cowboys fan that doesn't have the answers. Where does that sound?
I don't have an honest answer of what team I think is going to go to, but just my philosophy in how a lot of these big name players are treated once they hit the open market is it's probably just going to be a matter of who's got the biggest payrolls.
Oh yeah.
Who's going to be
So you're
definitely
saying the
him.
Yankees or Dodgers is what you're saying then?
In that case,
Dodgers
yes.
are up there.
In that case,
But
yes.
Dodgers
they've
could
already
use him.
but they've already paid a lot of money to Freeman. They've paid a lot of money for that Muncy extension. They're going to have to pay Kershaw this offseason. Yeah. But yeah,
Do you think they make that choice of letting either trading away or letting go Kershaw and making it for Shohei? Because Kershaw is getting older, and you saw what he was like in Game 1 of the Diamondback series.
It would be an upgrade, but I don't think they do that.
Yeah.
Chris, where do you think he's going, Shohei?
Shohei, I mean, obviously it makes sense for the Yankees because, you know, they are the evil empire and they will forever be that. All for them to lose to probably the Astros again. But Dodgers make the most sense. The worst part about it is I could see him going back to the Angels. And it's just
I really
like,
could too.
I really could, but just it infuriates me that you're seeing like a waste of talent like that. And it's just, you know, a waste of, you know, someone that is a generational talent. We use that a lot, but he is a true
You don't just get
generational
compared to Babe Ruth for nothing.
Exactly. But also, speaking of trade value and things like that, I remember when Josh Hader and Blake Snell were additions to the Padres. And Josh Hader being a trade line acquisition back in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. And now he's hitting the market after the Padres had a disappointing year. So where do you see these two former Padres heading to?
Well, Jack, you haven't given an answer yet. Let's hear from Jack.
What's going on, Principal?
You know, this is obviously the topic I know the least about because I'm still trying to get into baseball more so, but
it's awesome, man.
Oh yeah,
October is a different beast.
All I'm saying is, you know, the Braves have been fun to watch, but golly, they weren't in the playoffs.
I wonder why.
You know, for Hader and Snell, I don't really know. I could see him maybe going back to the Padres, but I mean at the same time,
yeah, but they just lost their manager.
Yeah,
too,
I was gonna say, do you think maybe Hader Hader as a relief pitcher could be like a bullpen arm in Atlanta if they choose to go after him?
I wouldn't pay him. I wouldn't pay for him.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay for that either.
I wouldn't pay for him.
So it's maybe see Snell going
yeah,
to
exactly.
Atlanta.
That's what I was about to say. That's actually where I have Snell going is Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think they're going to overpay on anybody because I know Atlanta.
Yeah.
But I mean, he had one of the best ERAs this season. So I mean, bring me Blake Snell.
Yeah. Speaking of the owners of the Atlanta Braves, let's talk about former Philly Rhys Hoskins. This is
my goodness.
so
Chris, you better stop before we have to censor this show.
There's gonna be a fight here, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, and you know when you're looking at the Phillies last year, and one of the major losses that they had that you really didn't notice was that Rhys Hoskins, one of the best hitters in their lineup, didn't play at all last year due to a torn ACL in spring training. And now he is a free agent coming up this year. And I mean, Philly makes the most sense because they need him there. They need him. But where do you see if he decides to walk, where do you think he goes?
I don't think he walks. I think he stays with Philly.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris, really, that's a question for you. I mean, what do you think they're going to do with
we
first
need him
base?
at first.
Because you have
his
Harper.
presence was missed.
You have Harper, but do you keep Harper there?
Well, here's the problem. I remember when he was signed in 2019. We didn't pay $300 million for him to be a first baseman. He's a right fielder or DH if you so fancy.
Yeah,
I just Rhys fit that role well, and you saw when he was healthy in 2022. You saw that one of my favorite baseball memories of recent memory was watching the home run against the Braves in 2022. One of my fondest memories. And you see that growth from where he was from when he was, from developmental and things like that. And you see him taking that big of a leap in the postseason. I would love to see him there. And also the torn ACL is the worst thing to happen because obviously injury and you're not going to get as much. But Rhys Hoskins, I think that he truly knows this is the best chance to go win a title. And you add him back into an infield with Bryson Stott that took a big step. Yeah. You have Trey Turner who had a rough year, but took a bigger, got off cooking.
And with that said, I do think he's going to take, if he does come back, he'll take a hometown discount too.
Oh, I fully agree with that.
So, and another thing I also want to note with Snell, Hader, Ohtani, and even our last guy on this list, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, I honestly now think the Diamondbacks might be a sleeper contender. Even though they have Zach Gallen, they know they're right there. They've proved it.
But are they though?
That's what I minorly worry about. That's why I minorly worry about why I think the Diamondbacks might be a contender, because we have seen teams in the past in every sports league who make it to the final. Key point here: the Vegas Golden Knights back in 2017 when they made the Cup final.
When they made the back in 2016
when they made the Cup final that year, they won one game, and then that year they thought, oh, we are absolutely in our contending window. We need to go out and shore up this team.
Yeah.
So they're going to go out and they're going to try to be big. They're going to try to be a big game market for these players to try to shore up their own rotation.
But
and also Philly made that move for Trey Turner after making the World Series the year prior.
Yeah,
and,
exactly. So it's gonna be a matter of trying to fix holes that may not exactly be there, but you're kind of paying for the idea of this is going to help, not the proven this is going to benefit our
if
team.
you get somebody like a Blake Snell, for example, to add him with Gallen, who was pitching amazing in that game in Game 5 before he got pulled in the 6th, like. You add him to that rotation that can shut down hitters, man.
Yeah, I could see the Diamondbacks getting Yamamoto. Really don't see them getting Ohtani. Really, I think Yamamoto's probably going to go to the Mets.
Yeah.
Because
the Mets are going to pay for another pitcher.
They're going to rebuild. I mean, listen,
Mets are going to
when Max Scherzer left the Mets and went to the Rangers, he kind of blew up their whole confidentiality thing, talking about how they told him that they're really not wanting to contend until maybe 24, 25, maybe even 26. And, that's the reason why Verlander and Scherzer left, because they're like, I'm not sticking around for a rebuild.
Especially since they're older.
They're older, yeah.
They're old
but
pitchers.
I mean, somebody like Yamamoto, that may be somebody that they pay that big money to give them a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, kind of become that, hey, we suck, but we have a really good pitcher, kind of the Shohei effect, if you will.
Yeah, Kyle,
except for the batting, of course.
Real quick, brother, Cody Bellinger, because we haven't got a chance to get to him. Where do you see him going? Real quickly. We get about 1 minute.
Number 1 team, Yankees. Number 2 team, Braves. Number 3 team, back to the Cubs.
I could honestly see him going to the Yankees to share up that infield, because someone needs to get
infield.
Not infield. I'm sorry, outfield, because someone needs to take young Carlos Stanton out of the outfield.
Got to get that away out of the outfield.
Please stop it. And now it is time for a new topic of mine. We are going to be doing the Scorcher Seat. I'm going to give y'all something in the NFL or NBA coaches or players, and you got to tell me if they are on the hot seat or not. So I'm going to start in the NFL, and I'm going to start with the principal, Jack Calhoun. I'm going to start with a big fish to fry, and that is former Super Bowl winning head coach, and currently with a winning record, but is it really a winning record with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin? Do you think that he's on the hot seat after an offense that's still anemic? They still have Matt Canada. They're 5-3 on the year right now. Where do you think he's on the hot seat right now?
I just have one question. What year in his contract is he?
I think he signed an extension in 21, so I think he's like in his second year of 4.
Okay, then no. Pittsburgh doesn't fire people. Next question.
They don't fire coaches.
You know how I know that? Because if that was the case, Matt Canada would have been gone last year.
That is true.
But they signed an extension for Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
Which I love, by the way. Our good friend Jack in Orlando, if you're listening to this, Steelers get wrecked. But
and my brother too, my little brother too. Steelers get wrecked.
Yes. But no, if they were going to get rid of Tomlin, they would have got rid of him a while back. And they don't fire people.
I mean, Tomlin's just a consistently good coach, though.
Yeah, he can pull 9-win seasons to make sure he stays over 500. But Kyle, I want to talk about Jack's team, the New Orleans Saints, currently surprisingly the number 1 seed in the NFC South at 5-4 right now. Offense isn't great, but I don't know really what they see well. But do you think that Dennis Allen's on the hot seat, or do you think that he's safe from the fire?
Well, Dennis Allen kind of inherited that head coaching role when Sean Payton left.
As he should.
And, he deserved it. I don't think he's on the hot seat this season, mainly because if the Saints make the playoffs, I don't think they fire him. I really don't think they fire him regardless. I think he's at least got one more year in him.
Okay. Jalen Scott, let me talk to you, player. This is one that not a lot of people are talking about, but I'll give you a name. Sean McVay. Rams are 3-6 right now. They just signed Carson Wentz to back up Matthew Stafford, and that came down yesterday, which is Tuesday as of time of this recording. Do you think that he is on the hot seat?
I don't think he's on the hot seat. I will say, I think his seat is starting to get a little warm. I honestly think that McVay's seat is starting to get a little warm. Now, granted, the quarterback issue has been a persistent issue on the Rams since the Super Bowl. And especially after that losing season where McVay questioned if he even wants to continue coaching or not. What kind of message does that send to the owner, Stan Kroenke, and management to say, this guy's had one bad season in his time of taking over for Jeff Fisher, Mr. 7-8. Or
7-9.
7-9. Thank you.
1 yard short.
So I think it's honestly a matter of his seat is starting to get warm, but if this doesn't shore up in the next 2-3 years, then his seat's gonna be scorching hot.
All right, I want to throw a big fish, and I don't know who's gonna take it. Bill Belichick. They have, and I cannot believe I'm living in a lifetime that I am gonna say this. The Patriots have the worst record in the AFC. A day that we never thought would be.
Kyle's heartbroken over here.
But New England's 2-7 right now.
He's
An
not
offense
going
that
anywhere.
is truly anemic.
If you think they're firing Bill Belichick,
He's not
Bill
going
Belichick
anywhere.
could coach until he literally died on the
Listen,
field. They're not getting rid of Bill Belichick.
I did hear a rumor that the Washington, whatever the crap they want to call themselves nowadays, the
Commanders football team,
Commanders, Redskins, whatever, that team. Yeah. I heard a rumor that they may be trying to trade for Belichick this offseason.
I wouldn't go. If I was
Trading for a coach.
Oh, that's
I
crazy.
don't
done
think
before.
that's going to happen.
And John Gruden, if I'm not mistaken.
John Gruden, Sean Payton, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think he stays where he's at. I think he retires a Patriot.
Speaking of the scorching sea, we're all about opinions. We all have our unique opinions, and Jack had himself a unique opinion 2 weeks ago in episode 3. You mentioned a comment about the NBA in-season tournament.
I did.
They shouldn't have had this tournament at all.
So
How it's terrible.
So
and how
we're
it should not be
gonna wrap up this segment of
those
scorching.
courts.
We're gonna wrap up this
Jesus.
scorching seat with Jack. What can you elaborate a little bit more on what your thoughts are on the in-season tournament?
So basically, from what I understand, the in-season tournament, they decide to have an artist come and just absolutely mess up the home court of the people that are hosting this game.
They look like my team courts.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you.
terrible.
I turned on the Nuggets game to fall asleep the other night, and I thought I was having some kind of lucid dream. I was like, what is this court? No, but basically, they're playing for an in-season title, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. Why some games are a part of the in-season tournament, some games are not. And it's like, why? I don't understand what we're going for here. And that being said, it's one of the, in my opinion, one of the most idiotic things I've ever seen in sports. I mean, who wants a trophy saying, "Oh, we won a tournament in season"? Like, hey, here's the thing: preseason tournaments, that's one thing, or just like a little thing in college, that's one thing. We're professional ball players. Like, there's one trophy, there's one tournament you want to win. It's the playoffs.
Yeah.
None of this
Exactly.
play-in tournament, no. And while we're at it, get the play-in tournament. Get that out of the playoffs. I'm tired of that crap. Go back to 8 teams. I'm tired of 10.
I mean, here's the thing, though, that I was hearing that they are going to be getting ready to start expanding, and finally the NBA is going to get
Go
back
to
in
16
Seattle.
or don't do any.
Yeah, or I know that they're probably going to expand the playoff.
Oh, well, I guess they
field.
can't do 16 because there's only 30 teams. Fair
Well,
enough.
it'll be 30. I think they're going to add 2 teams, so I'm assuming the Seattle Sonics, because if not, Seattle will riot.
Then what is that going to do to the divisions, though?
Well, the
Then they need
easiest
to
one,
divisions are a
the
social
easy one-
construct.
Well, I'm going to say, the easiest one would be obviously move Memphis out of the
No, the easiest thing to do would just
yeah.
be have 8 divisions instead of 6, like the NFL does.
Well, here's the thing, though. The divisions
That's
in the
true.
NBA have never
that's
really
true.
made a lot of sense. Who is really talking about the NBA divisions? It's all about the conferences.
Yeah,
the
I don't think
divisions are a
anybody is
social
like
construct.
a Heat fan. I've never heard a Hawks fan talk about, "Yo, bro, we got to win the Southeast Division this year."
Exactly.
I've never heard
Well,
that.
Hawks fans just trying to win for the most
Yeah,
part.
we're
So
just
Yeah.
It's tough out here, folks.
But yeah, coming up, man, you're going to hear from your favorite uncle, man. Uncle C is coming in to school y'all with some knowledge. That's coming up next right here on the Inferno.
Good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be and whenever you may be listening. Thank you for joining us on the Inferno Blazer Sports Show.
It's a new day in Titletown, and thus we provide a new episode of the Inferno Blazer Sports Show. This is going fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our second time I'm recording this because
Gosh, here's this new guy that's starting us off. Gosh.
Oh, man.
It's good to see
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Inferno. I am the enforcer, the one and only Chris Mercer.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Inferno Blazer Sports Show. My name is Kyle Hawthorne, and let's get right into it.
Listen, man, there's only one thing you must understand about us, man. If you can't take the heat, what makes you think you can survive the Inferno?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the man to my left.
Cut that noise. Cut that noise. Look here, sit down and pay attention. Scoot up in your chair, youngster. What's going on with you? Now, for those of you that don't know, I am the vigilant, meticulous, conscientious, analytical, and the best in the world. I am Uncle C. And I've been brought here because I see these three gentlemen over here talking about they know something about football. See, look here. Back in my days, we knew how to sack the quarterback. We had audacity. We had tenacity to get after him. Now, I was watching that Commanders, Redskins, Sea Dragon, whatever they want to call themselves now. I was watching them, and I was seeing this particular player, go down for the sack. I see Mac Jones get pummeled in the pocket. Now, that's not nothing new to this Jive Turkey. What? But I was sitting there watching them, and I was sitting there, and I was wondering. I saw the flag come out, and I was like, which one of them big boys was called, which one of them big boys was called holding? Because in my opinion, as a former offensive lineman, it's not holding until the ref calls it. Now, I don't know what you're laughing for, youngster. You were a linebacker. I'd have held you quite a few times on the line.
Uncle C, I thought you were a receiver back in the day.
No, I didn't play no receiver. I didn't play no receiver. God. Only thing I was receiving was buffet line tickets. That was all I got.
That one got me.
Golden Corral fears this man.
Oh, God. Now, I was sitting there, and one of them big boys, I'm like, all right, one of them boys, got caught holding. And that happens from time to time, especially in the third quarter of a game. But I sat there, and one of them referees, one of them
especially the third quarter of a game?
Well, I was, it just happened to be the time when I was watching. And that was when the call was made. And I saw him say, roughing the passer. And I was wondering, because he got there as the ball was still in Mac Jones's hands. And I was sitting there, and I was like, when in the world did they start calling that roughing the passer? I mean, back in my day, the days of Ed Reed and Brian Dawkins, who was knocking heads off of
Ed Reed, you're making me feel old.
Yes, I am, mister. I heard you were a syrup maker.
He's also 89 years old.
My nephew, Chris, he was telling me that you were a syrup maker and you like taking syrup shots. Am I correct?
Yeah, syrup shots.
You were a syrup maker.
Yes, the syrup is definitely not Jack Daniels.
You from Cairo, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Cairo.
What in the world is a Cairo?
We still don't know.
A Cairo sound like a cereal box name. That sound like a bootleg Frosted Flakes. Like, what is that? You got to explain that to me, youngster, but I ain't got no time for you right now. But when did we get so soft playing the game? I mean, back in my day, folks like Reggie White, folks like
John Randall,
and Sean Taylor.
And Sean Taylor. John Taylor was a dog. Let me tell you something. That was a dog. And I would have loved to have seen what he could have done today. But he would have been locked up in a penitentiary. Guys like Ray Lewis would have been locked up in a penitentiary again if they had the audacity to touch a quarterback in today's world. And I do not understand that. What do y'all call this football?
Which also at the same time, there was an incident in a Chiefs game. I forget. I think it was the Chiefs-Jets game where a Jets cornerback were streaking down, not actually streaking down the line. Jeez, don't take that out of context. Was running full,
you gotta explain yourself,
was running full speed down the field towards Patrick Mahomes. Had a very clear, wide open, could just lay him out Sean Taylor style, but missed him. But intentionally just missed him because he knew if he sacked Mahomes right there going full speed, he would have been flagged.
See, look here. I done been around before, been around. You dig what I'm saying? And it pains me to see the game that I love get so commercialized now. Like, I don't understand that these teams coordinating interceptions with the whole team when 10 out of the 11 didn't do a damn thing. That is despicable. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching the NBA now because, I ain't watched the NBA honestly since Larry Bird retired. Because you see, that boy there used geometry to put the arc with the ball. That is how good he was. But Michael Jordan was in there too. But now I'm sitting there and I'm watching this in-season tournament. Who had the audacity to put yellow and blue on the same court at the same time? My eyes hurt. And also, Mr. Principal Calhoun, because I know you're sitting there, I heard from my nephew that you said you did not like that he said that Thanksgiving was a religious holiday. Isn't that right?
Not.
Listen, it is a religious holiday in the South. We will praise the Lord as we are eating that jive turkey. Now, I'm going to get out of here because Betty Lou is getting ready to fix my grub. I heard my nephew say he could be back from the bathroom to wrap things up. Now, where is my cane?
And I think on that note, we're gonna wrap it up here. So
who let my uncle in the studio?
I have no idea.
I tried to keep him out.
Last time I checked, the door was locked.
Listen, man, I
Kyle
don't
started
know.
growling at him when he walked up to the door.
Listen.
Are you trying to say something there?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
Listen, man. Y'all need to leave him out, man. My goodness, man. He about to embarrass the family. He didn't bring up Betty
Chris,
Lou
I
again,
couldn't
did
stop
you?
if I wanted to. He's got the size advantage over me, Chris. What are you talking about?
He large.
We're gonna wrap things up here, man. Thank y'all so much for watching. We're gonna be back next week for the Thanksgiving episode. We'll have the reaction to VSU versus West Georgia. Take care of your mentals, man. Your mentals are super important. Happy early birthday to my boy Kyle, and
happy
early
birthday to you
me,
too, man.
Thank you so much for all of us here, man. We appreciate y'all watching. And yo, Craig, say bye to the people, man.
Bye, Felicia.